Welcome to Harpy Stitch, to our first Come Stitch With Me. I'm Amy. This is a channel all about cross stitch. Today I'm going to be starting with you my first New Year New Start. It is H.A.E.D's Cliffhanger. I have to get the numbers real quick. The art is by Amy Stewart. It is 625 by 875 stitches. So that is 546,875 stitches in total. I'm going to be doing it 2/1 on a 25 count. I'm going to be joining Nancy at Bohemian Stitchery and Karla over at Stitch Me Sane for the H.A.E.D this decade, hashtag, and the Anything Amy Stewart hashtag. The original intent was just to do a start, but my husband hadn't been feeling well, so I'm going to combine this with a whip parade as well, since I missed out on posting the video we did right after Thanksgiving, and this is just going to be an end of the year whip parade as well. I do want to show you what I got to get started on my H.A.E.D. I got a Cone of Doom because this thing takes almost 17 skeins of just black. This is 1.1 pound of DMC 310. It is insanely big. I still have the plastic because I don't know how else to store it. I don't want to bobbinate all of this at one time. I think I would go mad. This is the floss. Luckily, in my stash of floss, I already had one full container and the rest I had to buy. But I think having over half of the floss before I got the chart was a pretty good deal. And I have my binder with the entire printed out pattern ready to go in slip covers to protect them. I just grabbed this binder from work because we were going to throw it out. So I repurposed it. I am starting in the center. I don't grid my fabric because honestly, I don't have the patience to do it. I'd rather just get started. I don't have the patience. I don't like doing it for one, patience. Two, I tried the thread and I just ended up doing the thread inside of the thing and it would tangle. And then with doing the little disappearing pins, it's really hard to stay on the one line and know on smaller counts which line you're actually doing. So I am going to start today with 902. And I'm going to do a loop start. I was going to put this on a scroll frame, but I could not get it to be tight. And I just ended up doing it. So I got a new stand, hoop stand, and this one, my other one didn't flip. This one I can rotate so that I can do the back without holding it on top of my head, which is kind of silly. So, cut my thread real quick. I am very excited about this. It is beautiful, and I can't wait to see what it is going to be like as it grows. Luckily, my husband is feeling better than he was. He's just been exhausted, was fighting some infection. Not fun. But you will notice, no patch. I was nervous about driving while my brain adjusted to my wonky vision. So I wanted to wait until I had a day or a couple of days where I didn't have to go anywhere. So we went to visit the kid on Christmas, and the day after, I took off my patch. A lot less headaches than I was expecting. It's still a little hard sometimes to do fine motor, and if I have to focus on really small print, it still gives me a bit of a headache, but it was much better than expected. So I'm very excited to not be a pirate librarian or cross stitcher. So that's great because that way I can see a little bit better. I am a floss licker, so if that offends you, I apologize. All right, I'm going to grab my first page. Don't worry, I'm not going to show you. This right here is the center. I think I'm gonna have to get my little cheaters that I got. They fit right over my glasses. They're very glamorous. But the nice thing is they do flip up. So if I want to watch TV, just need a little bit of help. My one tiny wonky spot in my vision still. So I'm using clips to hold up the extra fabric out of the way. Since I'm doing a loop start, I don't have to flip it over to get my threads started. As long as I can find the hole in the bottom. There's the loop. Reach up into the loop. Oops, that did not work the way I wanted it to. So we're gonna do that. I am gonna check it because I don't know what it looks like in the back. So much for being fancy. Oh no, it worked. Excess fabric to the wind for the win. Alright. Dinging anything when I flip it over. Alright, so first stitch is in. I know some people put arrow with their thread. I just use the latch on the hoop to tell me where the top is. I do tend to go all the way across the line and back. I guess while I put in a few stitches, I did have 10 finishes. One of them was my quilt, and then the rest were cross stitch this year. I could have 2 of the recent finishes I've already given to people for gifts. One was for my EA, and one was for my child for Christmas. And I don't. And then I'm trying to think if I have a bunch of works in progress. I did finally finish my Yule Pentacle, so that is super exciting. I will probably show that in just a minute. Oh, now it's time to take the purple out so that I don't get it tangled. Whoosh. I filled up my big glass jar of orts, so I'm starting a brand new one today. I think it's really cool that filled up the jar right at the end of the year. So that's kind of exciting. It's a nice, even place to cut it off. Has anybody done this one before? Be interesting to see somebody else's finish of this. I haven't seen any of them on Instagram. Right. Now, this is actually right on the edge of a page. The stitch that I'm putting in right now actually goes to a different page. But I don't like to go straight up because then it leaves weird lines. So I do. Very close. I'm going to tighten that a little bit. Sneak in here and be a little cheaty. I usually try to make all my stitches go in the top or the bottom left and then go up to the top right and then go back. Sometimes when I'm changing rows, I'll cheat a little bit and change it so that I get a better line. I know some people like to do 1/1 on 25. And if it was more of a sampler style, I might do the same. But since it's supposed to look like a painting, I like not having anything peeking through. I know that makes it a little tight. It's one of the reasons I don't tend to leave confetti or ninja stitches behind. And I don't do cross country because when you get there really tight, the confettis disappear and you can't find them. And you lose that beautiful detail. It was 51 degrees on Christmas Day when we went to visit our kid, and it snowed 2 days after Christmas, and where it finally stuck. We're not supposed to get any more snow until the day I have to go back to work, because I get this whole week off for Christmas break, or excuse me, winter break. We don't call it Christmas break anymore. So I've been enjoying time at home. We went to the kids. The son-in-law made turkey. I made Parmesan green beans. We had mashed potatoes. And then also my kid made butter pecan cheesecake, which is delicious, and you don't have to bake that one. So that's nice. I made some gingerbread cookies and pecan pie cheesecake for us to enjoy at home. Let me get this one more stitch in here, and then I will show you the Yule Pentacle. I was really hoping to finish it for my son-in-law for Christmas, but I did not quite make it, unfortunately. But I did finish it on the 28th, very close to after Christmas. So this is Yule Pentacle by Kick Stitches. It is on 28 count. Belfast linen. It has lots of half partial stitches. Oops, some cat glitter. And so I was actually having to poke the needle through the fabric to get the half stitches in there. It is the first of 8. This will go over his altar. And then I backed it with this winter fabric I got at Michael's. And this is the first time I've tried this finish. Where I did the blanket stitch around the edge. Most people do it with felt, but I wanted something that tied in a little bit better. And so, yay, it's all done. And I think it turned out really nice. And this will be a lot easier. Next time I think I'm going to pin it, though, to make it stay a little smoother. And I can show you my quartz jar. I think that's full enough. I'm going to put new sticker, fix the 2, and put the date that I ended it. This is all of my stitching remnants, or most of them, from last year. I think that I'm gonna mark off where I stitched. I usually do that in my lap, but I can't do that because then it'll be in the camera. This is only my second H.A.E.D. My first H.A.E.D is the Wisdom design by Cherry Gerhardt, which I had them turn into a stocking for me for my kid. So I am really hoping that I can get that, make that one of my focus pieces this year so I can have it ready for next Christmas. Such a beautiful red maroon color. I have to ask my husband because I can't see what he's doing. Did you share my other 2 finishes? No? Okay. We're learning this as we go, and setting it up was a big pain in the tuchus. But now that we've figured that out, then hopefully it'll be easier next time. So I have 2 finishes. One is a bookmark from the cross stitch, this Christmas cross stitch, or December World of Cross Stitching, I should say. It is a Doreen Jones bookmark. I had it done before Christmas. It's just one of the reasons I didn't get the Yule Pinnacle done for Christmas, because I wanted to finish it before break so I could give it to her. And then my other one is the Cape Honeybee by Maroomy Designs, which I put in a Betsy box, which is a little memory box with velvet lining inside for my child, and I gave that to them over Christmas as well. And I think it turned out really nice. And I had never framed anything in a box like that before. And I think I got it pretty straight. So that's another fun thing that happened. Let's see. Yes, the finished Cliffhanger will look like this. I have gotten, I just started it, so a very minuscule start. But I'm hoping now that I'm patch free, I can stitch a little faster. Sorry, I just have to count right, or you know how that goes. Then over a break, I did some crafting with my friend Teresa, who decided she wanted to make project bags. And she made like 3 of them the other day after seeing my project bag that I got from Little Boat 88. Other than that, I've been hanging out, watching tons of movies with the husband. We did a Sword and Sorcery marathon for New Year's Eve. We watched, we started off with Beastmaster. Then we did The Sword and the Sorcerer, which is so terrible. But it was one of those that always came on when we were kids every Sunday. Pretty much, you could see that one. And it's got Richard Mall in it as the bad guy. And I love Richard. We love Richard Mall. And we learned watching it that the contacts they gave him for his bad guy eyes fused to his eyes, and he had to have surgery to get them removed. And I'm like, oh my God, that is horrifying. And but we were also talking about how the score is terrible. If they had gotten better music for it, I think it would have come off as a much better movie. So, that would have been really fun. Then we watched Red Sonja, which as a kid was one of my favorites, because in the 80s, there weren't that many strong women characters. And yes, I know Bridget Nelson can't really act. She's a model. But it was one of my favorites. I mean, she fought. She was the hero. And the set designs and costumes of that movie are just amazing. They are really just phenomenal. And the set pieces are gorgeous. Good music in that one. And then we started Conan the Barbarian at 9:59. My husband figured it out that if we started that movie at 9:59, then that when Conan threw Thulsa Doon's head down the stairs, that would exactly be midnight. So at midnight, Thulsa Doon's head got chucked down the stairs of the temple. So that is what we did for our New Year's. We don't tend to go out because normally I'm in bed by 8 or 9, or I should say 9 or 10. And then you don't have to fight the drunk drivers. And that's really not a fun time. So we watched movies, and now I think we'll figure out some other kind of movie marathon to do next New Year's Eve, with some other cool major event in the movie happening right at midnight for the final. And we've seen all of these movies a zillion times. So it was easy and fun to look up trivia while we watched, so we could learn things we didn't know about the movies before. I kind of want to go as Queen Gedrin from Red Sonja for Halloween next year, because her outfit is just amazing with the gold mask and everything. Although masks are always difficult when you have glasses. Get this couple of stitches in here. Edge of the page. So like right here is the edge of the page. Oops. All right. That's a cue. We're going to take a small break from this, and I'm going to show you a whip, since we are repurposing this as a whip parade as well. Now, my intention was to have this finished, or all the books finished for you, but I forgot to do that earlier today and yesterday. I only have 2 books left, and I was going to try to rush and finish it, but then we were doing all the prep, and it just didn't happen. So this is the Goth Temp Stitch Along by Goth Stitch. I have 2 books down here, the 30th and 31st, and then there's a bonus book here, and I've been trying to figure out what color I want to do that in. I think it has turned out beautifully. You will notice, though, that this is January, and this is February, and this is the kind of temperatures we should be seeing in December in Minnesota. This is the kind of temperatures we're seeing. So it's been more like March temperatures than winter temperatures here. I mean, it was 51 in Rochester, Minnesota on Christmas, and 48 here. We had our door open on Christmas Day to let air in because it was warm enough to let a little cool, fresh air in. That is wrong. That should not happen in Minnesota. I mean, we're almost in Canada. Next for this is finish these last 2 books, do all of the backstitch, and then I have a separate piece of this French lilac from Picture This Plus that I'm going to do the key on for the different temperatures, and then I will either frame them in the same frame somehow, or I will frame them in separate frames and then put them next to each other. I've tried to decide if I want to add St. Cloud here on the bottom, since that's where we live, but I don't think it's necessary, and I don't have huge margins, so I probably will skip that. But I love all the bright colors, and I'm so excited that it's almost done. So next is Dead Outlaw Female by the Witchy Stitcher. I am also going to do the male counterpart to this. I worked on it a little bit since you last saw it. I'm kind of stumped here because I do have the color 975, but I moved it to another project because I wasn't using it in this one at the time, so I have to go dig it out and put it in with this one so I can finish the pillar. So this is the beginning of the archway. I've got the metallic thread here for the flowers on her dress. There's much more of them over here on this side of the skirt. I have the metallic or the étoile here in the metal part of the gun. And I will add, when I get to the bell, that'll also be the étoile. I'm going to put, this will be the year we got married on it. This is on Pecan by Fabric Flare. It is 14 count. It is 2/1. So this one's a really fast design when I work on it. I'm trying to decide what I want to do. These are little flowers that have vines, and I'm trying to decide how I want to do the vines, if I want to change the color or if I want to leave them as charted. So always loved Annie Oakley. She's based on Annie Oakley. So I love all of my projects, and I never get to all of them. And I want to start more. But it's a compulsion, as you all know. Double check my counting. I hope everyone had a nice holiday. I know that unless you're a teacher, you probably didn't get anything but like maybe Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off. But I hope you had some good food, spent some time with family or friends, and got to enjoy yourself and relax a bit. Tension's getting a little loose here. It's one of the problems with the bigger hoops. They lose tension faster. That's why I wanted a scroll bar, but I will probably try to figure out a solution for the slippage. I'm going to try some extra fabric, see if I can get it to be tight enough. It was just a cheapy one I got off of Amazon. The seller even took the listing down after I bought it, not too long after I bought it. So I'm guessing it was kind of a knockoff. But I'm hoping I can make it work because even though it was a cheap one, it was kind of pricey. I know there's some really good ones out there. Unfortunately, they cost more than I could really consider doing at the time. But one of these days I'll have to get one of the nice, expensive ones. Okay. It is hard to talk and count at the same time, as I'm sure those of you who have done a stitch with me know. Consult the pattern. Talk. Consult the pattern. Talk. I see why a lot of people who do come stitch with me try to do these sections where there's block stitching, or they just put on music and don't talk. I am beginning to see why people do it that way. Did anybody do anything really fun on their holiday or on New Year's Eve last night? A little bit of stitching, share a couple of whips, do a little bit of stitching. I never remember if this is called Dutch or English method, because this is the way I've always done it. I know some people do single X's. Dog is over here staring at me. He's a very sweet boy. What are you doing? Why are you talking to yourself? Yeah, unfortunately, when I get up tomorrow, I have to do some grown-up things. We'll also do a lot of stitching. Count twice, stitch once. Or sometimes count 5 times and stitch once. I have to thank my husband for all the crap he put up with setting all this up. Was very challenging to get everything to work right and figure out the setup, but now we'll know better for next time, and now we know what other equipment we might need that would make all of this easier. I really don't know how you people that do this on your phones can do it and not lose your minds. Although maybe it's easier if you're only doing it on your phone, because then it's just your phone on a stand pointed at a camera and you just do what you do. So maybe that's easier. Simplified and all. Do a couple more whips since I don't know, I'm having a hard time thinking of stuff to talk about right now. So there's that. All right, my next whip is the Kingdoms of Life Sal by Stitchonomy. It is on some 14 count DMC fabric from Michaels. It's a little bit yellow, blue, and green. I have finished, and I wrote this down because I would never remember what they added a new kingdom of life since I went to school. And so, or changed the name of one of them. I can't remember which. I started this on July 4th. There's 25 colors. It's 2/1. I did notice, I think when I had my hoop here, it pulled out a couple of the back stitches, so I have to go fix that. But other than that, I have finished the Eubacteria and the Archaea. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's some Latin word. And then I'm working on the plants. So I've done 2 sections with single cell organisms, or well, those look like they have more than one cell. But, so when I stitch this, it's super fast to stitch. It's just other things tend to call my name. And so I stitch on those too. On those instead. Grabbing this. This is the Overlook Sal. It is by Robin Allen. It is part of the Kingverse Facebook Kingverse X Stitch group on Facebook. I have not gotten very far. It is on 32 count Belfast Stormy Clouds. I started this on July 5th. There are 13 colors for the frame, but the individual rooms have a bunch more colors. The It Sal dropped today in their Etsy store. That one's not going to be free. This one was. And the Stand and It are probably my 2 top Stephen King books. Shining and Firestarter are very close too. So I really want to do the It one. Scariest thing I have ever read is It. When I read it, I had to sleep with the lights on for like a week, and my husband had to check the bathroom every time I needed to go to the bathroom or take a shower because I was terrified. I was very new to horror, relatively speaking, because I didn't read horror novels when I was a kid. But Stephen King is such a big part of my husband's life that it was you need to read this stuff, because I think it was one of those things, if I hadn't ended up liking Stephen King, we might not have stayed together. It's like, you know, I have a hard time being with friends with people who don't like to read at all, because it's such a big part of my life. I'm like, what the heck am I going to talk to you about if you don't read? Although today, cross stitch kind of fills that a lot more. But I've got to figure out how to read and cross stitch at the same time. Probably more audiobooks. Here is the Wisdom Stocking that I mentioned earlier. It's my first H.A.E.D. It is also on 25 count, 2/1. My child is a Ravenclaw in the Harry Potter world. This thing is so gorgeous. I cannot wait to finish it so that I can give it to her. So this was a larger design that H.A.E.D had, and then I requested that they turn it to a stocking, and they now sell it as a stocking as well. I think they should do the whole set as stocking designs too, for those people who are Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, Slytherin, or Gryffindor. But, you know, I still love the Harry Potter world, despite all the controversy about she who shall not be named. So it's fact, consider Harry Potter movies Christmas movies, which my husband's big present to me this year was I got to watch 24 days of Christmas movies. And some of those were classics. Some of them were horror movies. There was The Killing Tree, which is this really goofy movie about a lady whose husband was I think probably mass murder would be a better word than serial killer. And he gets executed for his crimes because this girl escapes and turns him in. And then she puts his spirit into a artificial Christmas tree that then goes on a killing rampage. And it is so ridiculous, but fun to watch. Like, there's a scene where he's a Christmas tree and he's looking at a map and he can't find where he's trying to go. And he's just getting frustrated and yelling about the map not being right. And it's not funny, or it's not scary at all. It's just over the top silliness. We watched It's a Wonderful Knife, which is a horror twist on It's a Wonderful Life, which was interesting. I think the ending was a little bit cobbled together. There were some things that didn't quite work in the ending, but it was really fun, and Justin Long was in it, which I was not expecting when we started. So that was fun. Trying to think of any other Leave the World Behind, which takes place at Christmas and is a British movie with Keira Knightley. And it kind of borders on horror, but it's more psychological terror than like a traditional horror movie. So that was really fun too. So it was interesting to see all the different Christmas movies. So I don't know if we'll do that same thing again next year, but there are definitely plenty of horror movies to watch at Christmas time if you want a little flavor of both. Another whip. This is Fortune Teller. It's a little bit bent up, sorry. Been in its bag and not in a hoop, so it got a full line. This is by, where's her name? Jessie Schofield. And I got this out of the Just Cross Stitch Halloween edition for this year. I started it on October 5th. It is on 40 count, Haunted by Serafina, and it is 1/2, and there are 20 colors. This is going to be so gorgeous. I have another small piece of this fabric left, and I'm looking forward to finding something else to put on it. There's going to be a skeleton and gates and this crystal ball. It is going to be gorgeous. You know, the most exciting thing in the world you can do is watch somebody count and highlight their pattern. I am excited because this morning the registration for the Queen City Stitchers retreat in October opened up, and as soon as I saw the notification, I went ahead and signed up. It is a second retreat for the Queen City Stitchers, and it is run by Maggie, Kitschy Whips, and FiberArtsAmy. So I am hoping, crossing my fingers, that I am one of the 144 lucky people that gets drawn to go. Let me try not to turn the thing in there. I just want to make sure I'm going in the right place. It is unfortunate when you mess up and have to recount, especially on such a tight weave. I do not have a table. I should have an easel with my pattern on it, I think, next time, so that I can keep it up where I can see it easier. That would be a good idea. Make a note. I am also continuing to do Magical Stitches, the Facebook group, where we have prompts based on the book that we're reading, which they are featuring all Holly Black books this year. And the first one's Tithe, which I've never read. And there's 15 prompts for that. And they're also doing a year-long challenge where you have to stitch to identify, befriend magical creatures. And so you have to do like 500 stitches to identify it and know what it is, and then another 1,000 stitches to do the next step. And then for it to be your friend, you have to do like 5,000 stitches in total between all the different challenges. So that'll be interesting. I'm starting with the unicorn because I was a horse girl and I still kind of think unicorns are cool. So that'll be fun to keep doing magical stitches. I saw that H.A.E.D is doing a sal, and originally I was like, oh, I love H.A.E.Ds and I would love to do a sal. And if I do this little one, I can get all free 10 patterns free. So I learned watching Bohemian Stitchery, Nancy today. I looked at, she said the rules again, and I looked at it and I was like, oh, I'm so tempted. So if you finish like the first 4 pages, you get all 10 patterns. If you finish the whole design, you get all 10 patterns for the sal and 2 free patterns. I was like, ooh, that's so tempting, but I already have 2 big H.A.E.D projects. Should I do it? And I'm still trying to decide. But you get 3 pages every 3 months. So 3 pages seems pretty manageable. I'm going to guess it's a corner page, and I would have to start in the corner. My goal, well, not my goal so much, but my intention this year is to try to stitch from stash as much as possible, so that I'm using up some of my stash and I'm being a little bit more frugal. But of course, I know that things will catch my eye and that I will have to get them. So I'm not promising myself no new starts. I know that's not going to happen, if only because I will end up making gifts for people. Ooh, let's not put the cat glitter into it that way. So now I have to decide whether I want to get the H.A.E.D and the It, or if I have to wait. It was a very tough decision. But I want to start all of the things. A little bit of fuzz. Got it. I have my new Orts container right back there waiting for stuff. Really be unfortunate if I had to frog on my new start on Flosstube Live. I do like 902. It's a very pretty color. One of the magical stitches prompts for this month is you have to color certain colors, like a gray or a brown, and do so many stitches of that. And I will definitely be able to, I think, achieve both of those prompts with this Cliffhanger. If you would like to join me in stitching this, I am going to be having a hashtag on Instagram called Cliffhanger Sal. I'm also going to be joining in on Bohemian Stitchery and Stitch Me Sane's hashtag H.A.E.D this decade, as well as the Anything Amy Stewart, because this is an Amy Stewart design. So I would love to see what you guys are working on, even if it is not the same one. Let's see, next. Whip. Normally stitch faster than this, but I'm I'm also talking, so it doesn't happen as fast. This is Letter from Hogwarts by Cunning Cross Stitch. It is on 32 count stone gray linen. I started it on August 24th. There are 44 colors. I'm doing it 2/2. I've got part of Hogwarts. I've got part of the train. This is the beginning of my wand. And because of the way I rolled, the wand is 2 different colors of yellow. And then you've got the yellow magical swirls. I think, even though it doesn't call for it, I'm going to need to go in and backstitch just to give it some pop and some distinguishing, like, because there's little loops here, you know, the little like carved pieces, and I don't think you can see them very well. I think it needs to have some definition given to it. That's the word I was looking for. Definition, some dimension, some definition. I hate when words escape my brain, but it happens to us all. So my friend that I started with is so far ahead of me, but she doesn't cross stitch Christmas presents and she doesn't have 10 other projects on the go. So, and she also didn't have a defective eye. So that I will work on some more. And like many other cross stitchers, I have plans and then squirrel, something catches my eye and I end up doing something else, or I say, oh, I'm going to stitch on this today. And then my brain's like, that's not what I feel like. I'm going to do something else. So what I'll do is I'll finish off this one, and I will come back before I get too much further and fill in the missing stitches just so that they don't close up on me. How many is that? All right. Sorry, I had to actually do some counting because it was more than 2 or 3 stitches. I could just eyeball that and not have to actually make sure I didn't miscount. All right, we're going to take a quick break. All right, welcome back. Sorry, sometimes nature calls and you gotta answer it. So there we go. Get through there without splitting the threads. Thank you. Woo, look at that, I'm at the end. Now, this is a new stand and my other one was very similar in style, except for it didn't do this. Excuse me, I'm going to block the camera for just a sec. And then I can go like this. And see if I can make my stupid hand do this. Oh, yay, stupid hand. I am left-handed, and doing things like this with my right hand is quite tricky. Under the other threads, but not through the fabric on this kind. With H.A.E.D, it's no problem. You can go through the back, but this does not work so well for that. Ready? Carefully, gonna turn it back over again. Watch out. There we go. All right, so first strand in. Very teeny tiny start. Only, you know, 500, whatever, 850 something stitches left. I haven't done 100 stitches yet because I haven't finished one square. Make sure, yep, that is right. Perfect. Oh, I think the dog needs to go potty too. You can wait a few. You'll be fine. All right. So since I finished off a thread, we are going to finish up the whip parades real quick. All right. This is Halloween Fairy by not Norma. That's my mother's name. This is Halloween Fairy by Nora Corbett. I started it. I have all this stuff memorized. You would think as many times if I said this on my Flosstube now, I would remember the start dates of all of these things. But that is not how my brain works. I started this on October 3rd. It is on 32 count Yellowstone by Needle Bling. I'm doing it 2/2. There are 17 colors. This is my first Nora Corbett. On this, I got this from an old cross stitch and needlework magazine. The model stitch was done on like kind of a brownish tan fabric, and I had this and I thought the yellow would really pop with the Halloween Fairy. I did put her aside for a while because all of the browns here were just kind of just brown. And some of the colors changes were so little it didn't feel like it was making much progress. But we've got some skin now. Here's the lace of her things, and then some of the first Krynic. I do have all of the Krynics, and I think I'm still missing some of the beads because when I went and got some of the supplies I needed for something else, I went ahead and grabbed the Krynics. So there is that. Now we have Dancing in the Moonlight by Praiseworthy Stitches. This is my first Praiseworthy Stitches. I started it in May on the 29th. It is on 36 count Mystic by Picture This Plus. I am doing it 2/2. I took it off of the scroll bar that I had it because it was frustrating me on the scroll bar. I am really slow at doing this because I am not used to doing one stitch at a time, and I have to actively think about it. And in fact, a couple of times I've had to frog stuff because I realized as I was working that I was going straight across and going straight back, which I'm not supposed to do. I do wish I had done the tree a little different. I wish that I had gone up and down with my stitches to get it more of a look. You know, because art tends to go up and down, not sideways. And it might have been fun to do the little ghost, hangy ghost, and glow in the dark instead. I I'm wondering, this cat, he's black on this dark fabric. He's not popping as well as he might, but that's okay. He'll get some bead eyes and it'll show just fine. And that's all right. Black cats, it's supposed to be at night. It's supposed to be hard to see black cats at night. And then I think next I'm going to move down here and work on the fence, which I really do like the way the fence is looking with the dark spots and the lighter spots. So I really like that. I need to put in his little hat band there. And then there are some charms and some beads that'll go on this when it is all done. So that is also beautiful, I think. All right, Supernatural Sal by the Witchy Stitcher. I started this on October 9th. I was not intending to put it on this country mocha fabric, but I was really super eager to start it for Stitchy for Witchy, and this is what I had on hand. So that's what I went with because I had a piece big enough. It is 2/2. I am not doing a black outline here. I am doing the outline in a 12 550, which I'm super excited because one of my presents from my kid, they gave me an entire set of the etoile. So I have another skein of 550 to use on the border. And normally I don't do the whole border and then come back, but I'm not sure how I want to do the creatures because I'm not sure I want to do them as charted. So I am going to do the cryptid Sal as well. So I'll get the same fabric, and then instead of this 550 etoile, I'm going to do like the 890 etoile, which has a dark green since cryptids are like aliens and weird stuff. But that way they kind of go together because they have the same background fabric, even they're going to have different border colors. So, and I'm not sure, I know that there's a color called for the little corner pieces here, and I'm not sure what color I want to do that since I changed the etoile from the standard black. So I'm going to probably do all of the purple part and then come back and do, I might even make each of these different depending on the creature that's in them and coordinate them with the creature inside. That might be fun. But I'll kind of play around with it as I go. So. Here is my other piece that is on my Needle Bling Yellowstone. This is Sapita by Maroomy Designs, and I keep forgetting that the camera's not up on the ring light this time. Because you get in a habit and you just do it. I started this on August 14th. I am doing it 1/1. It is charted to have the parts that I've left blank to be, so I flipped them, and I'm using DMC, 4240, which is Midsummer Night. But I thought since the sun is in her dress that it would be really cool to have the sun be yellow, and I wanted to give it a nighttime feel, like this dark of the winter's endings, and she's bringing light to that. So I flipped it and did cat crawling on cross stitch. Did it in reverse, so we shall see how it looks, and I'll have to play around with the border as well. I have started another Shawshank Redemption sampler, not Sal. So I started this on October 12th. It is on 11 count ivory Ada. It's 3/1. This is part of a group of 5 that I am stitching on commission for SS Prop Designs he's on Etsy. Has some really cool props actually that I kind of wish I could get, including a nice Titanic 10. So this is really straightforward. When I work on it, it goes super fast because it's mostly empty space. There's only 4 colors, so as long as you don't mess up your counts, then it's quick stitch. So very fun. And again, I will be doing another 4 of those after this one. If you guys don't want to see